Remember, recover, return. Yeah, I'm fed up, man, the world's in decay. Everybody's selfish, lost in the sway. Church got secrets, but here's what I say. Truth ain't that complex, it's been here always. Look, it twisted the story, flipped it disguised. Told us to search out there, but truth's inside. The church got a vault where the knowledge stay hid, but the greatest all tried to show us what they did. Yeshua, Magdalene, they unlocked the soul. Kelly and Shiva showed how to get whole. Mother Mary whispered, the kingdom's within. Tesla sparked visions that ain't just pretend. It's simple, yo, go inward, get still. Tune in the ancestors, feel what they feel. Ether, plasma, that energy's yours. The door is always open, stop waiting for more. We just gotta remember what we forgot. Recover the truth that the world cannot. Return to the source, it's inside, it burns. Yo, this is the time to remember, recover, return. We just gotta remember what we forgot. Recover the truth that the world cannot. Return to the source, it's inside, it burns. Yo, this is the time to remember, recover, return. They got us divided, distracted by screens, lost in illusions, caught up in schemes. But Joan of Arc stood, even burned at the stake. She knew the truth that no fire could break. Maria Orsic tried to tell us to rise. Tesla drew circuits straight from the skies.
Shadows weave a tale untold. A beacon shines in visions old. Through the echoes of the stars, she calls us home from worlds afar. Remember the path through the endless night. Recover the spark, the eternal light. Remember who you are. Recover what's been lost. Return to where it starts, the energy, the cause.
All I want is to live in the good times. All I want is to live in the good times. But every day I'm stuck singing the same line. And I'm done with all this talk about retribution. Come on, brothers and sisters. Let's stop fighting. Stop taking things personal. Stop making everything about you. Stop being offended because it isn't directed at you. And remember, recover, return. But that is what we're going to talk about in tonight's session, dance session with the Queen of Dance, the Queen of Vril, the Queen of Happiness, the blissful Queen of Vril Purple, who is wearing a most beautiful business suit tonight. Very blue with a white tank top, button-up dressy shirt. I don't even know how to talk. Who took her shoes off and started dancing like a maniac. And what are we longing for? Some happiness. And we're wishing that for you, listeners and followers of Maria Orsic. I have never given you any of my teachings because I have none. I am telling you what I was taught, and, hopefully you're finding it interesting. The story here is how I tried to live by what Maria was teaching me and be loyal and honor the goddess. Even if she wasn't a goddess, who cares about titles? It's just essence, energy, and that's what it goes back to. And technology back home on Venus really helped us find each other and stay separated from energies that keep us confused, depressed, and regressed, and stop the creative flow, stop the flow of happiness. And that is exactly what the pyramids were. They were providing an energetic barrier between certain areas for certain people. And it kind of sounds elitist until you realize that it has nothing to do with money or power. And the people who have the very most, the wealthiest in the future on Venus, they're happy with this. And like Maria said, let them eat their own shit. Let them fucking, and that's our attitude towards materialists and who derive their pleasure from material things. We're not saying it's wrong. It's not immoral. It's just boring. And we fight that because we fear that. That's the only thing that Maria Orsic fears, And she said to me many times, you can quote her on that. Because in her teachings, how she views the world authentically and honestly is that balance, there's a certain balance that you can achieve inside of yourself. And that is what she calls happiness. Not circumstances working out the way, obviously. I'm going to try not to waste any words. And, let's first really take a breath and remember and recover. Remember true self. There's another you. You're that sophisticated. You're creating yous like you do in a dream. You're laying in the bed, but you're running around in another world in your dream. And the key is you created every single thing in the dream, including the earth and the sky and the heavens and everything else in your dream. You created it all. And there is exceptions, of course. We're not going to talk about the exceptions. The gods, other people, black magicians can give you dreams too. And that should work all together to drive you to your authentic self, to your true self. Who is speaking to me, right? Right? Isn't that the problem? Like faith to Maria Orsic is actually experiencing what was once unseen and unknown, right? The polarity of that is the Bible and modern day Christianity. And honestly, me, Joe, I'm tired. These people are horrible, but in my own way. I'm tired of picking on them because essentially they're not morally good or bad. They're just dumb. They're just unaware. And like Maria said, Joe, as far as you know, they're not real. They're just projections. But she said, let me tell you, from someone who goes back to the world they're from, they're not any more interesting. 4.7 million years in the future, these exact people exist, and they are still listening to their dumbass shit, watching their dumbass shit. I'm trying to think of this shit. I don't even know the stuff, I'm so far out of the loop. I can barely remember Taylor Swift's name. And it's not funny. because it's stealing people's lives away and causing it to repeat and causing this rippling bad vibration that you and I must protect ourselves from, or we'll never be in balance and happy. And real quickly, Maria's main teaching is the thing that puts you out of balance in the matrix is contradicting who you were before you came here. That's the main unconscious knowledge. The knowledge of your unconscious that the black magician is tapping into. He can tap into who you were before you came here and manipulate you thus and so. And some of those people are your relatives, and some of you are actually married to those people. And the whole entire second that these people were born till this moment is just nothing in the context of what you and I are living. They're more like animals who see, the status things and see, I'm a winner if I put all these things together like a puzzle. And like Maria said, boring. But we're joking about something that is devastating for someone like us. Because you planned it and it is destroying you exactly how you planned it. And we're going to continue the story and pick up the story before the throne of Lucifer on May 5th, 2024. In the sign of the bull that was taken down by the arrow of Artemis Sagittarius, Robin Hood's wife. And most sincere thank you to Queen Donna, the most powerful of all people I've ever met is Donna, and she makes the very least big deal about it. She is a very incredible person. Maria says to me, I would not be here. I wouldn't be who I am. You wouldn't be here. We wouldn't be laughing. We wouldn't be dancing without Donna. Diana Isis. And Isis. Ma Donna. Thank you, Donna. And as I stood that day, that night, before the throne of Lucifer, and I was desperately trying to figure out what was going on. And because of my concentration, I completely, absolutely, 1,000,000% forgot that I'm from the future, laying on a bed in Venus, connected to technology, in a avatar, in a simulation, doing mushrooms, laying down in my bed, and completely left the room, left my body, and was standing in some other realm with Maria Orsic on my right and Avatar Adi Vishnu of World War II on my left. And as the whole thing began, before it began, he revealed that his new colors were red, gold, and green, and that he was actually united with Haile Selassie. Now, because they were friends on Earth and had similar essence vibration. And his hair was down to his knees, and he was dancing around his hair, and he said, Joseph, my son, he said, as sure as she is your mother, I am your father. He said, do you remember when I held your hand when you first came into this world? And I said, yes, I remember. And he was like dancing around as he's saying this. And he said, those people outside. I said, yeah. Talking about all of Maria and Maria's devotees, her children who follow her everywhere in every ritual. He said, let me tell you what they'll say. Those are crazy people following the crazy lady. You know who she is? I went, no. And he said, she's the lady of the crazy. And I was laughing, and he was like, that's how they treat us. That's the respect they give to our efforts, my son, my Joseph. To them, we're the clowns. And he looked me in the eyes. He made me look in his eyes, and he said, I am giving you permission. Not only that, I am commanding you. Tell all. You must tell all, Joseph. Jojo. You must tell all. And I laughed, and he said, you can start with how the gods ordained me and your mother in a magic marriage to more than 2, maybe 3. And he said to me, isn't 3 your mother's number? And I said, yes, it is. He said, it's so stable, it's so sure, it will never fall. He said, that's 4 sure. And that's when he like backed away in his red, golden, green, white, beautiful, kingly gowns, or not gowns, just uniform. It was almost like a military uniform, but it was also very shamanic somehow, because it had around the collar was red, gold, and green with like all kinds of magic symbols, from ancient India, from all over the world. Like he was making me see everything. And he said, you know how stable 3 is, and that's 4 sure. That's when he like danced off out of the room. And Lucifer said to me, I didn't know for sure who he was. And he's for no exaggerations, in actual real earth, he was 10 foot and a half, 10 foot 8 to be exact. And, so it's like some sight I've never seen, truly. But his first things were like, don't be afraid. I'm a man just like you. I'm actually your friend from before you came here. He's like, because of her. And Maria gave him a little nod with her 2 braids. I don't think Maria said a word. She only gave nods, but me and her were telepathically speaking. And he said, Joe, all the things you suffered, I'm in control of this world. I know them all. I took no pleasure. I took no pleasure in harming you. I would have never done it. You know that. Your true self brings you here for those reasons, and I'm the only way to trick you. On a level you will never be tricked except by someone who's me, who's more powerful than you. And I'm trying to critically think, and I'm listening, but also cautious. And I'm like, more powerful than me. I looked at Maria because experientially, I know she is. And the way that she's more powerful than me is the exact way to my happiness. The exact energy that interests me. Right? And that's really what we're getting at. Why she's a goddess in the future. And I was a bit confused, like, because I understood the context. I understood he was saying, like, I know every moment of your life because I've been intimately involved in leading you into these moments. And he said, and he wasn't fucking with me at all. He was being kind, like his voice was, and he said several times, he's like, take a breath, brother, and look at me. He's like, it's okay. I guess I wasn't, I was looking at the ground. And I tried to look, and I was like, it's so bright, it's so bright. When I did, I was kind of laughing. And I even thought to myself, is he trying to put me on my heels, to deceive me? Because the last thing I want to do is look stupid again. I'm serious about that. Why lie? I would lie to make myself look better, not worse, right? And what I'm getting to was this dramatic statement. Like, I started to cry a little bit because I was starting to see the things he was talking about. I was starting to get emotional, like, I can't believe I survived this. I can't believe I survived these feelings, that I can't, and it's not specific tragic things. I'm not talking about my friend killing himself. I'm talking about, like, the feeling of maybe I am, not a good father, or maybe I'm not making the people happy I want to, like deeper vibrations, right? And as I would come to find out this very night again, it was scientifically a lack of data. Like, if I had the data that I have now, I wouldn't have suffered. And like Lou said, it's just that simple, Joe. It's for real. You think about the art of like storytelling and movie making. And think about that art being turned, a creative way of like, how do I deceive my good friend into a simulation of experiencing things he would never ever be, dumb enough to believe. Essentially, that's what happened with me and, happening with some of you. Well, I mean, even more than that, generally, this is a general, there's a lot of general truths that I represent for Maria too. Because we're in a simulation, this is a general truth for all of us. Like a lot of us have families because we don't have natural families back on Venus. We came here for that very fucking reason, to experience. I was in personally shown how I absolutely had to, and even signed a contract to, like, I would go find someone to break my heart, quote, and I signed a contract like to never ever harm that person or never hold that person accountable, because I went out on another plane of existence, on the real plane of existence, and sought that person out, And it's just wild how this simulation brings out just how much we love each other back home and how powerful we are and what we will do when we want to talk to each other. We know that where there's a will, there's a way. And where there is people, a deal can be made. To switch bodies and communicate with that person, or switch bodies and kiss that person, or hold their hand, which is like having sex back home. Back home, when you love someone, you say, do you want to hold hands? I want to hold your hand. Because basically that means let's go into a simulation and make love. Make vril. Vril. And the mixture is what took away our vril. The racial mixture? No. The magical mixture, which can be, right, any mixture that makes a bad vibration, no matter. There are no bloodlines. There is what Ra sees. There's what you see too and what I see. Right? But there's also the spirit of what we see, or the vril of what we see. Right? That's what I'm talking about. The mixing of the wrong vril is actually what caused all of our problems as a race of bigger humans and smaller humans. And that's why standing before the throne of Lucifer, listen, we're living the wrong way. And that's why, as I stood before Lucifer, he said to me, I took no pleasure in harming you. And he put in my mind that when I was a Rasta, and he said, I'm not going, Joe, to allow you to blame your wife. He said, but when you were a Rasta, you're such a loyal, true believer. You were ready to take those children and move to Jamaica or to Ethiopia and live like a Rasta, a real Rasta. And he said, because you wanted those children away from evil, and you knew without any doubt that Rastas were good people, real Rastas. I'm not talking about your local dreadlocks down at the bar drunk. I'm talking about the brothers and sisters who live in communes together in the mountains of Jamaica and in Shashamane, Ethiopia. You know, many blessings and many ohms to you of peace, love, light, and prosperity. But Lucifer, he said to me, you would not have suffered, and I would not have had to ordain it, predestine it, and make it happen if it wasn't for your wife. Your wife kept you from going there, and instead of being mad at her, give me thanks for her, because I am working with your true self. And you wouldn't be here tonight if you went and lived a good life. Good, healthy, clean, uplifting, good vibrational life in nature. You wouldn't be here tonight. You would be repeating. There's two things that makes a person's life repeat. The good and wanting to re-experience in it, or the bad and wanting to try to change it. It's simple. He said, I am saying to you tonight, what you thought was God was me. Do you know who I am? And I said, no, I don't. And I looked at Maria, and she made a face like, look at him. Don't look at me. Look at him. He's asking you. And I tried to look at his face, and I kind of seen it. I kind of glimpsed it, and I was surprised because what I seen, he had very dark hair, and he had darker skin, and there was certainly a hint of Asian in his eyes and a structure of his face. And, my Vril magic sister, Mindy's sons are half Vietnamese and half white. And that's who he reminded me of, like his eye structure. And he said, oh, you're exactly right. He picked up right on my thoughts. He said, Joe, the first thing I want you to know about me. This is before he said who he was. He said, there's something I want you to know before I tell you who I am. I am not white. And I went, okay. And he went, and I'm not black. And I went, huh. I mean, just in my thoughts, I was like, huh. He goes, I was born in India. He's like, I'm almost 100% pure red race. He's like, in the Giants, the race I'm from, never mixed races, ever. He's like, we were afraid that it would kill all of our children, that he said, you don't even have any context, Joe. He's like, you actually came onto Venus millions of years after all this happened, and to tell you, like, I lived 8,000 years before Christ, 10,000 years before Maria was ever a physical girl. That's when I lived my real life. And I was just like, what? He said, do you know who I am? And for real, I truly was like baffled. I said, no, I don't know who. I looked at Maria and she was looking straight at him. Her eyes were locked on him. And I just said, no, honestly, I don't know who you are. You know, and I wanted to say, are you the dude from the dream? Are you the Marilyn Manson dude without the makeup? And he picked up right on my thoughts and was like, yes, I am. He's like, do you know who I am, Joe? And it was crazy because when he spoke out loud in the vision, it felt powerful, like there was a microphone. And he said, Joe, I'm Jah. And I went through like 33 worlds or something. I'm not kidding you. I just went like from world to world to world to world to world. Like, how is this possible? You know, with him. You know, and it was like the sympathy for the devil song. Like, you know, like I was this, I was that, I've been here, I switch bodies with people, I have avatars, this is my world. You know, and I was like, I swear, in that space, like going through them worlds with him, I said, when you say Jah, do you mean Yahweh? I was still skeptical. Hey, I'm not dumb anymore. Or Jehovah. And to tell you the truth, I didn't think of that. I think he more put it in my mind. I'm not kidding you. I'm saying that with all honesty. And he said, Joe, neither. I'm the author of both. Allah. I'm the author. I am the author. He's like, and you're going to be the author. And I'm just called Jah. He's like, but I want to officially have you call me Yahweh. So it goes into people's minds that hear it, that the way out of here is Jah's way. Jah's way. I was like, wow, that makes sense. And then I was back. For real. It was just that simple of a conversation. And he was like, Joe, he was like, this is all funny to us. I looked at Maria and she was smiling so big. He goes, Joe, he goes, first of all, he goes, let me tell you, let me show you. Everything you prayed, he said to me, you fasted every Sabbath for over a year. You fasted for over a week to me. You went days without, you did all this. You prayed for an hour a day. You did all. He was like, I am Jah, and I am in the process of rewarding you for everything you ever did for me. And I'm going to show you right now how I answered every single one of your prayers. He said, because Joe, you were smart enough to only truly ask for a few things. And, this is personal things. It wouldn't even interest you, but truly, I was amazed I was so completely amazed because I didn't believe in Jah, and Yahweh is a character created. And he said, and I was looking at Maria, and with her mind, she was like, he is Lou. He's Lou. You've met him, Joe. And like all my doubt left. I was just like, okay, this is crazy. I'm still standing there thinking this. I go, this is fucking wild. He goes, I'm red. I'm red. I'm the red race. He goes, there's no yellow. He goes, get out of here. The red race, the Asian race, the black Africans, and the white Europeans. He said that's the world that spawned the smaller man that just went crazy mixing. And he said, why? Because we wanted them to. He said, I'm telling you, these are men, I'm a man, but this whole thing is being overseen by a council of gods of which I am part of. And by invisible vril power, things are absolutely, with pinpoint accuracy, going to end exactly where they want them to for the exact reasons, because they have been eternally calculated as the most efficient and most powerfully impactful to not waste your time as can be, if you understand what I'm saying. And I looked at Maria and I was like, yeah, thanks to you, I do understand what you're saying. Because this is what we've talked about for, 14 years. Or 13 years up to that point. And he said to me, you thought you were going to die. He said, 20 minutes ago, outside, he quoted me exactly. And that even made me like, whoa. Because I didn't know he was here. He said, you said to your mother, I'm dying. I'm going to die. My body is like dying. And I'm not going to any doctor unless you tell me to. And she's like, no doctors, nobody, nothing. Just, she's like, if you die, it's okay. I'll be here. I'll be right here. I'll know that you're dying. It will be fine. It's okay. Let's go dance. And, and I don't want anyone, I'm not trying to make people feel sorry for me, but I want also the contrast of like coming into her presence would instantly heal me. And that was part of what was being predestined and ordained for me, to say to you people from a, individual to individual. There are people that are more powerful than you, and just being in their presence helps people like us. It was proven to me. That's what I'm trying to say, is that it was absolutely proven to me. And he said, everything I showed you in the last few minutes is me, my life's work, and the essence, the very most serious point in my mind. I swear to you, you're not going to die. because you're going to write my story and her story. And we're going to have fun doing it. And I was like, what? He said, matter of fact, he said, I am giving you 20 years. No one can harm you, and nothing is going to make you die. Nothing, Joe. No accident, nothing. He said, I guarantee that. I give you my word. And just in the same serious tone, he said to me, I know earlier you were talking about just leaving the world and who cares. He said, I'm in control of every moment. I'll give you an easy death too if you want. I was like, what? I looked at Maria. She smiled at me and nodded like, yes, take it. I swear. With her beautiful braids and her beautiful eyes, she gave a little bow like, yes, take the easy death. I was like, okay, I'll take an easy death. He's like, how about a possessed girl stabbing you in the throat with a butcher knife? And everyone, him and her, laughed. They, bust out laughing. And I just stood there going, why is that funny? I'm not kidding you. Make fun of me later. Make fun of me millions of years from now and go, dude, you didn't even get it. I didn't get it because I had been fooled by so much. I'm trying to stay irrational. I'm trying to stay, and I'm like taking in the words, trying to remember them, and I go, they're laughing. He literally made me look at his face, and he went and started laughing like he couldn't hold back his laugh. I went, why is that funny? Stabbing me in the neck with a butcher knife? I swear I am this dumb. I went, how is that a quick death? Hey, he said quick death. I thought it was literal. Do you blame me? Like I said, make fun of me in the fucking future. If you want to make fun of me in the future, you can say, our Lord Elijah Lucifer made one of the greatest jokes, and you didn't get it, buddy. You didn't laugh. He said to me, when he finished laughing, I looked at Maria. She was laughing. She had her hand over her face with her head down laughing, with her body shaking. She was laughing so hard. He said, Joe, you didn't get it. He goes, no, first, let me tell you exactly what happened. He said, Maria, he didn't laugh. Maria, look at him. And she looked at me, and I just had the straightest, dumbest face of how's that funny? How's a possessed girl stabbing me with a fucking butcher knife in the neck funny? And she didn't say anything. She just bust out laughing. She just looked at me and continued laughing. And he goes, Joe, you don't get it. He goes, way back in the Rastafarian church, Kristen, our dear sister Kristen, right? He goes, what happened? And okay, I'll stop there, and we'll pick it up on why next session, why Lucifer made a joke about me because I'm just giving you my story because this is their way of telling you how in control of my whole life and everyone's life they are, and how, all of this has been absolutely connected up, dot, 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 absolutely for, 55 years, my entire fucking life. They started with the moment I was born, for real. Literally. Literally, in reverse, I had to go back to the moment I was born and then forward. And I was shown, like people think that God is ordaining every single millisecond of Lucifer a la lucha way is because he is one of the inventors of this technology, but mainly the simulation wouldn't be shit without him as the god of it, imagining the theme, the essence scenario, the essence theme of the world, and the very fucking clown show that we see, the Aleister Crowley Golden Dawn clown show of retards, the retarded clown show. And no offense to people who have been damaged by these clowns, I'm retarded. I'm talking a different level. Like I'm saying, these are backwards people. The evil clown show. The retarded as like spoiled food is like retarded food. You know what I mean? For real. They're moldy. They're gross. They're fucking sick. And they're fat, ugly, disgusting Aleister Crowley guy. We're bringing the war to him. Fuck him. All his teachings suck. They can all go fucking suck a dick. You could have found all that out. Do what thou wilt. That's stupid. That's fucking retarded. You don't love, and love under will. Shut up. Shut up. And it's just their own language, their own inside jokes. And I'm just saying shut up because you're not shit. You really aren't. Just as Maria's spokesman, like essence to essence, Aleister Crowley, you're nothing to Maria Orsic. You're nothing. You couldn't do anything to stop her. You were the very person who tried to stop her, who tried to interfere with what was happening and what they were doing. You were the very traitor that told our brother Rudolf Hess to come to England. You were the traitor. You were the person that made him suffer. You're the person making America suffer because of the teachings of be greedy, be rich, be materialistic, do what thou wilt. Hey, what about everybody else, you stupid ass fool? Love under will. Oh, really under choice? See, that, like Maria said, that's exactly backwards. No, love under instinct, love under vril, love under vibration, not under choice. See, we don't choose who we love in our religion. We already love them. We believe in eternal true love. So that love has already happened, and the only thing is the separation. We're eternally together while eternally going out from each other and finding each other and reuniting. That's why she is like, remember, recover, return. Even me and you, Joe. Eternally. Don't ever forget me. Don't ever forget me.